Alright, strap in, folks. Today is gonna be a good one. Finally facing off against Joey. Not Fontaine, no. The Joey PokeaimMD. And unfortunately, listen, I'm doing this post-com. And as you can see here, I was rushing, I was anxious, man. Facing off against Joey's Sandvale Garchomp Sand team. I was watching Spider-Man, alright, prepping for No Way Home, getting ready to play D&D, and then all of a sudden, boom, Joey puts out on Twitter, looking for Wi-Fi battles in BDSP. I'm like, this is what I've been waiting for my entire life. So I immediately switch over to the Switch from Apple TV and get ready to battle. I immediately put in the code and use whatever team I had on deck, which unfortunately was a bit tryhard standard. And he was looking for more fun, which, hey, I've done Copycat, V-Create, Flareon. I've done frickin' every type of PU to OU Pokemon, alright, on the channel already. So you know I love some mixed Pokemon. But I've only got 11 Pokemon bred in this game. And I'm borrowing Joey's Latios that he genned, so that's all that we got for now. But yeah, he let off with Gyarados, and I'm like, well, I've never seen a Scarf Gyarados in this meta really, so I'm just going to U-turn out and see what they go for. They could either go for the Dragon Dance or just go straight for the Waterfall. And I figure, well, if they're just going to go straight for the Waterfall, I may as well go Bronze Age, because this man never does anything in these. He does two things: set up Stealth Rocks and die. So I'm like, well, may as well, we saw the Intimidate already, so at least it's not going to be Moxie. So I'm like, well, I can for sure get up these rocks, and then I can go ahead and suck myself off. So get pretty low, but thanks to the leftovers coming through, I was like, well, it's going to save me the next hit. And I really wish I had those perfect Spatak IVs. Wish I had the 6 IV Ditto at the time but this was one of the first Pokemon I bred, so I was using all like 1 IV Dittos. And I don't even have Psychic. I keep meaning to put Psychic on, but I know it's not going to do anything anyways. So Extra Sensory does like 10-15%, which is tragic. We do get the 1 HP survival though. At least our defenses are perfect on this thing. But I was like, well, their Gyarados really is one of the only things standing in the way of my Infernape. Well, I mean, there's a Garchomp too, but I mean, it's not going to appreciate a close combat, and everything else gets either... Well, actually, everything just pretty much gets close combat, you know. You're not going to go for... I mean, you could go for Overheat on Magnezone, actually, since it's lower Spadef. But we go Bloom Gang here, you know, representing FPL, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, well, I know I can go for a Rock Tomb. I was thinking they might go for the Ice Fang, but then I was like, well, I'm pretty sure I can live. So I was going to go for the Rock Tomb anyways. So we land. I could have gone for Spore, but I know that this is a 20-minute time run. I don't want to waste any time. You know, there's not much point. I mean, I don't have SD. Like, what's it going to do for me? I may as well take out the Gyarados that's standing in the way of my Infernape, was my thought process. They go Garchomp now. And I'm like, well, they're probably just going to go straight for the Outrage, you know, no holds barred. And based off what I've seen, I was like, I wonder if it's going to be Scarf. So we send in our max HP, max defense, impish Gliscor. You know what I'm saying? And we pack an Ice Fang for this. Specifically for these dang 4 times weak to ice dragons. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's basically my way of dealing with all the Garchomps and Dragonites and Salamences and everything. You know, we just send it in and hope they're not a special variant. And then we easily live the hit, get that poison. You're like, you know, it's opposite day, you know. You think that he will be hurt by poison, but it actually heals him. So we'll go for the Ice Fang. I know it's not going to kill, obviously, because Garchomp's a bulky boy, and I'm not invested in attack. And it's only a 65 base power move, but I know that it will get it in range of at least Mach Punch from Breloom. So we go for the Ice Fang, and I'm like, well, are they really going to risk getting hit by Confusion? I'm like, nah, that's not like Joey. I'm like, he's probably gonna switch out here. So I was like, well, the best play for me then, in case they hit themselves with Confusion, would be to go for EQ, or if they switch out into Magnezone or Empoleon. So that was my thought process. I was like, well, best play is just to go for EQ. You know, if I lose this, you know, they die to Mach Punch anyways. So I mean, Gliscor did his job of getting in range. And they do indeed switch out into the Empoleon. And I'm like, let's go. Let's go. So we catch the Empoleon, and it is indeed Shuka-Berry. And I'm like, oh, Shuka-Berry. I'm like, okay, well, let's see how much damage this does. You know, after rocks and after the Shuka, and I'm like running the calcs in my head. I'm like, you know, I really think that could kill if I go for it again. And, you know, Gliscor, don't sleep on him, man. It's just such a... It's weird. He has 95 base speed and attack, but yet he's got that 125 defense that really comes through for him. So we're going to be able to outspeed the Empoleon and just take it out. And I'm like, huh, wow, we took out the Empoleon. We're sitting pretty. And Gliscor is still getting that poison heal, you know what I'm saying? Still getting that. I really wish I could have done live combat. Like, I had no time to get I didn't want to take away from Joey's time too much and make him wait. Even though at the beginning we were circling around, I was so anxious I didn't know if he was gonna start the battle or if I would, so I just waited for him after like 2 times. So they send in Tyranitar, and I'm like, well, if they're sending out a Tyranitar versus a Gliscor, this is screaming Ice Beam to me. So I go for knockoff. I don't know, in case they're, I don't know, Choice Scarf or something, just in case. I mean, if I would die Ice Beam anyways. I was like, well, I know I'm not going to kill this thing, obviously. I can easily knock it out in 1 hit, so I may as well just see what they are to gain more information. So this easily is going to allow us to now go into our Infernape and just go apeshit. You know what I'm saying? So we bring in the Infernape, and they have no switch-ins to close combat. So I already saw from his side, he thought that I was a Scarf variant, which is fair, you know. If based off the damage, it would be Scarf ordinarily, but no, I'm Fist Plate. Because I'm like, well, too many. I'm always moving the items around, and I don't like being locked into one item. Like you can see with my Typhlosion, I've run Specs, Charcoal, Scarf. Like I just keep moving the items around. I've got very limited Pokemon, so I want to try to use them in different ways. I might use a Scarf one soon though. So they send in Sand Slash, and I'm like, well, they could go for EQ. They could also set up an SD, but I was like, I feel like Latios can live a non-stab Stone Edge at +2 is what I was thinking. So I'm like, well, if they go for EQ or if they go for SD, I feel like Latios is really the best play here. So that's what I did, and I was like, we're gonna drop a Draco on the Draco Master himself. Alright, I know it's try hard. Alright, listen, like I said, if I could, you don't think I would want to be using all those lower tiered Pokemon myself? I wish I could, but I already bred every single Pokemon in Sword and Shield. I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to wait till they come out and I can transfer them. So that's why I'm only breeding when I need. Anyways, here comes the Stone Edge, and we are able to survive. Thankfully, we don't get crit. Thank goodness. And we were able to drop a Draco and end the Sand Slash's existence, my friends. So I'm like, dang, I'm like, man, I just dropped a Draco on this, man. I feel kind of bad. But it is what it is. So they send in Magnezone at this point, and I'm like, well, Latios has done its job. At this point, they only have 2 Pokemon left, so I'm just going to drop a Draco, and then we're going to send out the Bloom gang to finish them off. You know, just like versus Danger Dave, the triple threat triad, man. You got Infernape, Breloom, and Lottie coming through. So they go for the Volt Switch. And Gliscor put in that work too, you know. Bronzong, as usual, did the least amount of work, though it did give me a switch into Gyarados, at least, instead of the rocks, which did not matter at all, I don't think. Well, hold on, those rocks might have given me that good chip to be able to take out the Empoleon. Because who knows, it could have lived on a sliver without him. So we send in Bloom Gang, and I didn't even realize that they were, I guess I should have thought about it more at the time, but I was, like, so focused on, like, getting ready to play D&D, I should have noticed that I didn't take rough skin damage right then and there, and that it was Sandvale. So we could have probably lost. Well, then again, no, we had frickin' we still had Infernape, so we still had a chance to Mach Punch them there. They would have had to miss every single attack for me, and I still had my Weavile in the back too. Though I don't think Weavile could have knocked out Magnezone with Throat Chop. Would need to be +2. But we're able to take out the Magnezone with another Mach Punch, and that will be GG's, my friends. And like I said, Joey, I'm real sorry that I have brought this standard team. It was just what I had on hand. But once we get into home, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna have a good time. And like right now, I'm having to use the same team nearly every time, just like swap out 1 or 2 Pokemon and switch up items to try to make it different. But that's gonna be GG's, guys. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'm sure you guys already have checked out Pokeaim. You probably already subscribed to him. But if you haven't, check out one of the greatest battlers of our time. And we'll see you guys in the next Wi-Fi battle. Bye-bye.